Hello. So yeah, I'm Art. I would classify myself as a physicist, but I work on engineering problems. Engineering problems. So let me give you some context. It wasn't that long ago that if you went to most communities in the world, we looked a bit like that. And in maybe a few hundred years, we've gone quite quickly in geological terms to seeing it's more like that, with this high density population. And our houses have gone from little cottages to very dense cities. Dense cities bring a lot of challenges. Overpopulation brings immense challenges to all countries, all nations, everybody really. I'm going to talk about one of those challenges today. I think you all know what I'm going to say. It's sewage. I know, it's on everybody's mind, but basically, we built this stuff as a one-off go, thinking it would just last forever. We just needed somewhere for pipes to go, not just sewage, but basically all our water, gas, whatever you're thinking of. It's sort of under our city, it's just sort of like lost in the earth. And it goes wrong now, because it wasn't made to last forever, but human civilization just keeps going. So pipes burst underground, things get blocked, with whatever that is, and stuff just basically cracks. And how do we find out when something goes wrong underneath there? It's just full of earth between us and the pipes. This is how we do it. We basically just dig up a big hole in the city and have a look. And I'm going to try and convince you that's probably not the best solution to this. So, in the UK, we have hundreds of thousands of kilometers of pipes underground. Every time we want to monitor something that's gone wrong, we basically dig up the roads and create traffic jams. In 1 year alone, if you count air pollution and all the costs it involves, it's about £5 billion in every year just from digging up this stuff to look at pipes. If we want to change a pipe, do any rehabilitation, it'll cause a massive traffic jam. And things are only getting worse really in the UK. Our sewage system is old. We don't even know where a lot of the pipes go. We don't have a good map of it, so we often get discharges where we don't want them. And due to leaky pipes, we lose a tremendous amount of water. Because the truth is, we don't even know where the pipes are leaking and what's going wrong under the earth. It's basically only going to get worse. If you've been in a traffic jam like this, you can really sympathize with this. So one clever idea to deal with this is to have little robots just sort of like swimming around the pipes, trying to employ people to go down under there and have a look, but it's very difficult to get someone to go for it. So we're going to have little robots swimming around, having little sensors, and just trying to basically figure out what's going on down there. But that still doesn't really answer the question, because how are they going to sense when something's wrong if we just put a little robot? What is it going to do exactly? So I'm going to turn to nature for inspiration. Turn to an animal that can see things in the dark. Oh, missed the back one. So bats can do it. How do they do it? Okay, but basically it's squeaking.
As the bat homes in,
Good bit.
squeaks speed up.
Oh, there it goes. I always have to look away that bit. Okay, nature, very inspiring, right? Thanks, Rick. So, basically, sound is using. So I've prepared a realistic physics simulation to really explain what's going on there. So bear with me here. Oh, let's go back one. Okay, so now the squeaks are coloured. The white is the sound, and there's a bat there. It's looking for some food. It's hungry. There's a tree in the middle between it and the insect. You can tell it's a tree. It's because it says a tree in the middle. So it's squeaking. It's not found anything. It knows the tree's there. It's kind of flying around the tree. Still looking. Still hungry. Okay, now its first echo has reached the insect and the wave's been reflected back. It's got a sense there's something there. Here comes the echo back. It knows it's going. Is there something there? It's going in for the kill. Oh yes, nature's brutal. So, yeah. So basically, sound is a really great way to detect things. Sure, a bat uses it in the dark, but most of the pipes are dark, and there are many reasons why you want to use sound under the ground. One reason is because sound is very good at propagating in solids. Now, you maybe didn't notice this because of the excitement of the bat going for the insect, but the sound penetrated the tree quite well and propagated to the other side. Sound has this amazing ability to just kind of travel in all solids. Think about vibrations when you stamp your foot. It's very good at communicating information in dark places and places with a lot of solids, like under the earth. If instead the bat used like eyesight, like we do, let's say it shot lasers out of its eyes, then the lasers wouldn't just bounce off the tree immediately. They sort of just die on the tree. They wouldn't go through it. They don't propagate well in solids, as is clearly shown in this figure here. Right, so brilliant idea. We've got cities, dense populations, we've got lots of pipes underground. Governments all behind this, all countries in the world, but there isn't much money for this stuff. So basically, they'll come to the scientific community, engineering community, and say, okay, fine, we have to do it, so go for it. But you've got one sensor, it's a very cheap sensor, and we want you to be able to detect a flaw in the pipe, any obstacle you might find, or really anything that might be down there, and with as cheaply as possible with only one sensor. So they'll come to people like us and they'll say, can you do it? And then I'll say, let me think about it. So, me thinking about it, be well, duck's a bit of a complicated kind of object, isn't it? It's not very simple, so let's forget the duck for now. And I don't like the sensor, it's really weird and complicated as well. And pipes, don't get me started on pipes, getting waves propagate down pipes. Let's start with something simple. So what is the simplest thing you can think of in sound? For me, it's just one note. You know, if you hold one note, like ah, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's really mathematically simple, so we can put it on the computer, and that's why you get this pretty image here. Okay, it's a good start. So what's the next simplest thing? The next simplest thing is to have a sphere just floating in air. And with a lot of trigonometry and all that sort of maths you must have hated at some point in your life, and a lot of calculations and a bit of physics, you can kind of like figure it all out, all the details, and you put it into a computer, and out comes this. There's a bit of work, but once you've done it, you've got a sphere, and you've made some good progress. But once you've done one sphere, I mean, you might as well, it's not that hard to do two spheres, it's just sort of solving the same problem twice. So, great, you've got two spheres. You write the report that you made progress, and you add a few more spheres, and before you know it, you've solved the duck problem. Because if you get an object and you make it out of spheres, you basically made that object. So that is how sound scatters from the duck, which is very important for science. And once you do one note, every sound is made up of notes, so then you can do a different kind of sound, like an echo, like the bat, by decomposing it into lots of different notes. That's a bit complicated. Okay, from that aside, back to the pipe. Right, so we know how to do sound scattering from a duck. What about the pipe? Well, it's the same deal. You just kind of make the pipe out of little spheres. You kind of get a complicated problem and you reduce it to the simple problem that you already know how to do, and you just do that over and over again. Computers love doing things over and over again, and that's what you get. Now suddenly you're now able to do sound in a pipe off a duck. But it doesn't stop there. Ducks aren't the only thing you can do. You can do anything you find in a sewer. I've been told that... Oh my God, I left the talk. There are all sorts of sea animals in the sewer because the sewage connects to the river and the sea. So stuff just creeps in there. We need to know when it's there. So like a starfish, if you just get a starfish and you make it out of spheres, you're done. You've basically done the sound scattering of a starfish. You can detect starfish in our sewers. Major progress. Okay. So, what if there was a bend in the pipe? So, a lot of engineering is sort of obsessed with cameras, but if you put a camera down there, what would it look like? You know, like our eyes. So if you use light or a camera, so imagine sort of shooting light rays out of it, it doesn't really deal very well with bends in the pipes and all sorts of obstacles. You'd never see this starfish, and then the robot would be pointless. But if you use sound, look how sound behaves in the pipe. It easily goes around things. It propagates much further, much better. And if you compare that with a robot that doesn't have a starfish around the pipe, I think you can see a big difference in the field, can't you? You just imagine that robot just absolutely knows the starfish is around the corner now. Okay, so, right, we know how to do sound scattered from objects. We know how to do different objects, but how do we, let's say we send the robot down one pipe 1, I'm going to call this pipe 1, and we send the robot down pipe 2, and we're sat on our computer at home, because I'm not going to go down there in the sewer to check it out. And this robot's going to sing in the sewage, and we're going to listen to the sounds. So I'm going to get you to listen to the sounds, the two sounds, and I want you to guess which one is a blocked pipe. So, pipe number 1. Okay. Now, pipe number 2. Like a nightclub. Okay. So, make pipe number 1 one more time, because it's pretty similar. Okay. So one of those is blocked and one of those is not blocked. Okay. I want you to raise your hand. Who thinks pipe number 1 is blocked? Okay, a lot of people there. Now, maybe play number 2 again, just so I can see. Raise your hand who think pipe number 2 is blocked. Okay. You'd all make great robots. Okay, let's see. So really, I mean, what the message there is that this sounded pretty similar, right? It was fun to raise your hand, but it was pretty difficult to tell that pipe number 2 is blocked. The reason pipe number 2 is blocked is you heard a sort of like a blip between the things. It was like, instead of just like vroom, 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 it was like vroom, 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 vroom. But you know, you can imagine if it was something other than duck, you might struggle. So that's why we don't have people listening to those sounds trying to guess what they are. What we really do is we do something called pattern recognition. It's in the news all the time. It's AI, and you know, if you want to know everything about it, it's basically that's what it is. Okay, it's just someone sat at a computer doing lots of lines of code. We give the computer lots of examples of things that do have a duck and don't have a duck, and it's a long story. But that's how then you transition from knowing how to do sound from a duck to actually finding a duck. Okay, we have a lot of stuff underground, a lot of different equipment and pipes, and we're now able to detect these things, but the message I gave you is really the same for detecting anything. We have a lot of infrastructure out there. Bridges, there's been a train that goes underground, stuff gets cracked. If you want to detect cracks in concrete and other solids or a tunnel, it's the same idea. Sound is really the best way to go. And now you are all experts on how that works and how you can detect these things. So it's the same way of doing it. But I'm not going to lie to you, what it involves is maths. And that's what maths looks like. And once you've done some maths, it involves some computer programming. That's what computer programming looks like. And what we really need is we need more people who want to do maths and computer programming to solve real-world problems that matter to our cities and you know, everybody alive. And that's my message for you today. Thank you.
tech being used at the moment by any companies?
Not for our sewage. It is being currently funded to investigate. We use it to find oil and gas under Earth. So there is bits of technology, but not for our cities really, not really. Still just dig it up and have a look. Anybody else?
So with firing sound at objects, so you're not just finding out the shape of one side of it, or would you plan to have robots from both sides? Or?
That's a good question. Well, the robot can swim around, so it can get closer, can't it? And once you find it from one side of it, you sort of know something's there, and you can go in for a closer look. But sound actually goes around objects as well, so it might be possible to learn the other side of it without having a robot there. But we don't know.
Does your modelling extend to 3D images then?
To 3D pipes.
The 3D images are sort of stuck in. So
Oh yeah, absolutely, exactly, yeah. It's the same message, really, isn't it? Get spheres and make something out of spheres, and you've made your thing.
I was thinking of one thing. You know, like you said that these robots would be going in there and basically sending out this sound wave. Well, there's sort of like one bit of a flaw there that I could think of. What happens if the robots stop working and they become part of the blockage?
Shitty robots. Yeah, well then what we do then is we've got a backup plan. It's called send another robot in to find the first robot. It would be a problem, yeah. They have to be small enough actually not to create blockage. I've just amplified it there for, to make it easy to see. Anybody else?
What sort of size are they then? Are they this big?
There's a range, I guess, but they all have to be sort of centimeters at most. And lower. But really that's research, sort of ongoing research, if we can convince people to fund it. Yes?
Is there any reason why it can't be deployed on the surface as sound propagates through solids?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Why can't we just go to the surface and send sound down below the earth and then listen for it and use that to detect if there's something wrong, right? You can actually do that. That does work to a certain extent. But if you've got lots of pipes in between, it'll work for the first pipe. Second pipe's a struggle, but the 10th pipe is gone. You need something swimming in there.
How does it compare to pigs?
Say it again, sorry?
How does it compare to pigs?
How does it compare to
Pigs.
pigs?
Yeah, basically, usually on pipeline, you just pig down. I can't remember what, it's probably an acronym for something like that.
The big pipeline inspection.
I don't know. I'm not an expert about the equipment we send. I'm the physicist behind the maths and physics. I'm trying to stay away from actually going down the sewers and deploying things myself.
So how do you deal with things like, so if you've got a sound wave, sort of vibrations traveling through water, and you've got or something that's sort of flow into the other direction, how do you deal with things where it's just water traveling faster at certain points?
Oh right, it's very difficult to travel faster than sound, isn't it? 300 meters or so per second, or more than water. It's much faster than that. That's in air. It's in thousands of meters per second. So there's no pipe that travels that far. There's no water that would be traveling that fast.
Other noise, other acoustic interference, like noises, big noises.
Yes, good question. So if there's an earthquake, or if there's cars and lorries on top, they're going to create noise. The robots are going to think there's something seriously wrong going on. And the answer to that is that the robots can just continually send the sound. And sort of, as the acoustic interference comes, it makes it think there's something wrong, but then it waits a little bit longer, and it's actually, that thing's gone away. And so it can create a better picture of what's going on just by continually sending the sound, and then it's got a really good sense of what's really blocking something. Okay.
Once the robots have identified a blockage or something, how is that information then would be used?
All right. I suppose you could have another robot with a scoopy thing that sort of breaks it up. You could also then, worst case scenario, we're still having to dig up pipes. But at least then, we're digging it up with a clear knowledge that, listen, you are leaking 1 million tons of water through this giant pipe every day. It's worth digging up. Or you're like, you're not leaking anything much, so it's fine, leave it be for a while.
If you're talking about robots on like the centimetre scale, how could they deal with moving in pipes, especially in big pipes with huge amounts of current in them? So obviously something really tiny is just going to get washed out.
Yeah, that's a good question. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I believe that we just let them sort of actually. Most pipes, the water travels quite slowly. You don't, there's not many situations where you've got a really strong flow of pipe. Imagine in your house you've got a tap open all the time. In those cases, I think that would be pretty difficult. They might flush out through the system and they swim back to start the whole journey again somehow, or collect them.
I've just got a question here about power. Right, how these machines are down there, how would they get their power from? Their power source, because it just occurs to me, if they're down on the ground, usually any electronic device would have to be powered by something.
Yeah, definitely.
And
powered.
Definitely small devices, so how would that
So that's another argument to make sure they're really small and really lightweight, maybe, to have less power. So I guess there's a few different ways. You can have a sort of, it generates power through the flow of water is one way, but that's not something that exists at the moment, I believe. And another way, of course, is batteries, really. Small batteries, but you can just generate flow of water into energy to recharge some sort of battery or something.
Plenty of methane down there.
Methane down there? I wouldn't go down there, so I wouldn't know.
All right, thank you very much for that.